Good afternoon, everybody. Sorry I had to jump off and then jump back on. So I'm gonna just recap because I'm gonna delete the old video. So just a little recap. Today, I apologize for not being able to do the recording yesterday because it was a really crazy busy day yesterday. Just some exciting news. My son got into college. He's going to the Culinary Institute of America, and that's like one of the biggest culinary schools in America. So they have four locations. He's going to the location that is closest to home. So I'm so proud of him. So with getting that news, things just started rolling like right away. We had, and now I had some personal things to take care of at the bank, but to God be the glory. I had to make an appointment at the bank to take care of some information there at the time that I've been consistently doing the lives for you guys. So I apologize for not being able to be on here yesterday to teach you day four and to teach you day four and give you your homework. So, but today is even better. I'm going to spend a little bit more time than I was plan to. I normally do. So it's going to be a little bit longer because I got two things to teach you. But to thank God that the day five's teaching is not that long. So it's just going to be a little bit longer. Depends on if you ask questions, if you make any comments that I want to respond to. So I highly encourage all that great stuff. And I'm so excited about what I'm going to teach you today. It's going to be amazing. So you don't want to miss it. And if you can't be on here right now, you can always watch the replay later and make sure you put hashtag replay so I know that you're watching it. Of course, there is homework, and I will put it in a separate post outside of this video so that I can make sure that I can see that you're doing the homework, not make sure, but see that you're doing it. And I can see that you are if you're doing it, you can be in the drawing to win the cash prize. So like I said, if no one's doing the homework, then guess what, guys? I just have to keep the $25. So what is the homework? The homework is that you have to you do whatever the homework assignment is that is given on each day, and whatever that homework assignment is given on each day, then you have to do it, and then you put what the homework assignment is if you did it on the thread, but you have to be consistent with it. So for the past 4 days, it should have been five, but for the past 4 days, I should be seeing you posted in the comments what you did, how did you feel, all that great stuff that is done for the homework. So if you don't do the homework, all this great teaching I'm giving you, if you don't apply it, then it's kind of a waste of your time because faith without works is dead. God is saying you have to put in the work if you want the faith to grow, and you want to see things happen. You got to put in the work, right? You go to work. If you don't go to work, you don't get paid. If you do go to work, then you get paid, right? It's the same thing with our faith. We have to put in the work. So put in the work so that you can see the $200 that you can put in your savings. All right. So day five is day 4 and 5. Day 4 was about I'm going to teach you how to start paying yourself. Pay yourself first. That is golden rules that the wealthy people are doing. They always pay themselves before they pay their bills. Of course, they pay their bills and they live within their means, but they also pay themselves first. They pay God too. I learned that, and not all wealthy people pay tithes because a lot of people don't believe in God, of course, but realistically, they are saying the Robert Kiyosaki, one of my favorite books, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he said he pays tithes and offering. So we pay tithes, we pay ourselves, and then we pay bills. So it takes a lot of discipline that we talked about on Wednesday. It takes a lot of discipline on your part. So let's get to work. All right. So day 4 and day 5. Day 4 is called Pay Yourself First. Pay yourself first. How to, and also in addition to paying yourself first, also how to avoid financial burnout. That is a real thing, ladies and gentlemen. Financial burnout. So, have you ever felt like a man? Have you ever felt like, man, I'm Man, have you ever said this to yourself? Man, I'm tired of paying bills. All I seem to do is pay bills. Well, if you have never felt that way, once you really get to in the habit in the groove of paying your bills, budgeting, saving, and things like that, you might start feeling like, hey, I'm so sick of paying bills. Like, it just, all I do is just pay bills. And I felt like that. Time after time, I have felt like that. And what and when you start feeling like that, depression could start settling in. Stress, worry, the feeling of being inadequate because you don't have this. You see other people getting this, and then you don't have it. We've all experienced that. That's why the token saying, keeping up with the Joneses is so popular, because everybody experiences that. We'll say, I don't care about what other people have. I don't care. Even Christian believers, I don't care about what other people have. God has given me what he has given me, blah, blah, blah. But deep down, we're all human. At some point in time in our lives, we have felt, why is that person getting blessed? And it seems like I'm not getting blessed. And when I've experienced it myself on more than one occasion, especially when I saw people doing, better than me, their businesses would look like it was doing better than me. I felt, bad. I thought, when is it my turn? Or I thought, there's gotta be another way to getting the desires of my heart. And God, I even asked God, am I missing something? Am I missing something? Am I forgetting something? Is my faith not strong enough? Is my weariness too long? You know? And here's what I found. I found that, one, God promised. God has promised. When I felt, let me say this, when I felt these emotions about what's going on and about my circumstances and about the things that were going on, I I referred back to God's promises. God promised that he would double, whatever I put out, he would, triple, 30, 60, 100 fold. Some people would get that. You know, I would I would question, when is it my time? When is it my turn that the windows of heaven will open? When the window of heaven will open and pour out blessings for me that I won't have enough room to receive. Because I was like, God, I don't see the pouring. I have plenty of room to receive, right? Those were the feelings I was experiencing, and those were the thoughts that I had, you know. And I also thought, will the desires of my heart ever happen? And I thought about, all the things that I just settled for. And it made me frustrated. It made me upset. It made me frustrated with myself. It made me upset with myself. It even made me upset with God. I'm gonna be real with you guys. I was even upset with God. And because of, all my personal issues as well, I even started feeling like, you know, he's just another being, another person, another being who is not keeping his promise to me. My history, my past started, those past emotions and feelings of neglect and daddy issues and feeling of being rejected. They started arising, and they started to rise against God. So my heart started to get like, start drawing away from him, because I felt like his promises weren't being kept. You promised me that if I give my tithes and offering, that the windows of heaven will open and I won't have enough room to receive. Right? You promised that I would receive double if I gave. Right? You promised that if I delighted myself in you, that you would give me the desires of my heart. And when those things weren't happening, I questioned him. I question, why aren't they happening? I question, why wasn't, the business moving the way that it should have been. I was expecting it to move at that time. I questioned all those things. And you know what he took me to? He said, he took me to this scripture. I share it with you. Hebrews 13 and 5. And I'm going to read the Passion Translation. And it reads, and you can read it with me. It's right there on the screen for you. It says, don't be obsessed with many money, but live content with what you have. For you always have God's presence. For hasn't he promised you, I will never leave you, nor will I forsake. Passion Translation says that I'll never leave you alone, never. And I will never loosen my grip on your life. Now, other translations like King James says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. Right? That's a promise that he made to us. Right? That's a promise that he made to us. Let me show you the other part of that. Yes, I'll never leave you alone, never. And I will never loosen my grip on your life. And when I heard that, when I heard this scripture, I think I was in church. My pastor preached on it. And I said, well, maybe I'm not being content with what I have. So I started thinking, like, looking at what God has done. And I started looking at the blessings that he has provided. When I left my job to work for him full time, work for God full time, and my expectation was to have the overflow of clients, that have the overflow, like they was just going to be coming all over the place. And when a month went by and I only had one, then 2 months went by, 2 months, 3 months went by, and I didn't have any. And then a client came, and then another few months went by, and I'm like, this is not what I was expecting. But he let me see, Clarice, there is nothing that you have lacked. Nothing. You have lacked nothing. I've provided everything for you. When people are out of work, you still had work. When people were out of work, when you were in disobedience and you left your job when I told you not to, in 2014, I still provided a roof over your head, right? He said, I still provided a roof over your head, and I still provided food and your utilities to be paid. You never lacked anything. So be content in what you have already, because my presence is always with you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. And because my finances did not look the way I wanted nor expected, or at a certain time, the finances didn't look the way I expected, I felt neglected and felt rejected by God. I did. I felt like he did you know, leave me. I was asking him, have you ever asked God, like, God, are you here? Do you hear my prayers? Are you here with me? Do you see what's going on? Right? Did you see it? And I said, and instead of allowing myself to fall into a deep pit of depression and sadness, because yeah, it was happening. It was happening. God wouldn't allow me to fall into that. He kept ministering to me. He kept sending people. He kept giving me the word. And although there were moments when I would feel depressed and sad because of what was going on and the way that our finances were looking, I began to ask God, what am I missing? I've got to be missing something. There's got to be something that I'm not missing. And he took me to Matthew 6:21. Today I got a little more scriptures than I have in the previous lives, right? So Matthew 6:21, King James, I think that is. King James says, for where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. Now, what is that saying? That's saying, what was I pursuing? Was I pursuing, the things of this world? If he said that I will take care of you, I will provide every need that you have, right? I will provide every need that you have. What does that mean? Does that mean that he's going to provide the 5-bedroom house right now with the golf course? No, that's not what that means. That means that he will provide the funds needed to pay the rent that you have right now, so that you and your family are not on the street. Sometimes we look at God's blessings as monetary, right? When he can provide, God, I thank you. He can provide, he will provide in ways that is unimaginable and unexpected. And he did that so many times. And because it wasn't looking the way I was expecting it to look, because I wasn't getting what I was it expecting to get. I lost the fact that he would send money in the mail unexpectedly, right? He would send money in the mail unexpectedly, checks for thousands of dollars in the mail unexpectedly, right? So when I stopped trying to figure it out or trying to argue my way through things or trying to handle things on my own and just allow God to just work, do his job, right? Do his job, get myself out of the way. He would allow doors to open for me that I was not expecting to open, right? When we're going through challenging financial times, our mind is constantly on that thing. It really is. Think about it. Let's say, for example, right now, many of you may or may not be dealing with mortgage problems or rent problems. You may be dealing with your rent. You don't have any money to pay the rent now because you've been laid off, and now you're like, God, what is going on? What am I going to do? And that thing is on your mind. It is. It's on your mind. And I know it is because it's happened to me. It happens so many times. I mean, think about it. When we go for prayer, what are we constantly praying about? God, take care of the bill. God, take care of the bill. Give me the money. Show me where to go get the money. Show me what I need to do. Blah, blah, blah. And God is like, how about you pray for somebody else? Right? My worship was even about that. But if my blessings, my monetary blessing, God did it. Yeah, God sent the money. God provided the money. God provided a new job or a better paying job. And that's when, we get excited, we're crying, we're snotting and all this crazy stuff when we're worshiping. And then God is like, I'm more than just that. And I want your worship, not when I provide the money, because I'm not an ATM machine, but I'm more than just an ATM machine. I'm a God Almighty. I am omnipresent. I'm God. I'm God of all things, right? So when God provides the money, or even our worship is about, because that's where our mind is, right? Our mind is there and our heart is there, because we're worried. So even when He doesn't provide, we're worshiping about that. If I just worship more, God will provide, God will give, God will do it. And God is like, I'm more than just that. I'm more than just that. And I'm more than just providing a job for you so that you can get the things that you want, or so that you can take care of the lifestyle that you want. He said, I'm more than that, because what if I don't want you to work, but I want you to just work for me? And that in that working for me, it's just studying more, studying my word, getting to know me, doing missionary work, doing evangelism. What if my work is not traditional, like the world standards, but my work is literally you getting on your knees and praying for that man and woman, that's just popped into your mind, that's all the way across the ocean. What if that's the work that I have for you? But because it's not paying you money, right? It's not a direct deposit into your account. Then you're thinking I'm not providing for you. God is providing for us. And when He showed me that. He showed me that, and He showed me that I wasn't being content with the things that I have. It made me change my whole perspective about how God provides. Right? He said, I will allow men to give unto your bosom. So if we give, and it shall be given unto you. That's the scripture. He said, I will provide men to give unto your bosom. So men will start giving to you because you are giving, you are a cheerful giver. So the fact that, because I was doing all the prerequisites of, receiving the promises of God, to get everything that God said that I could have, and I wasn't getting it, I became mad and angry with God. I share that with you. And slowly, without even realizing it, my faith was moving away. My faith was moving away because I was feeling like God is rejecting me. God is not there. He's breaking His promises to me. And I started losing trust in God. Honestly, I started losing trust in him. I was saying the right stuff, right? I was saying the right stuff, but my heart was getting dark. My heart was getting dark. And I was drifting away from him. Just like the scripture says in, I think it's First Timothy. I think I wrote it down. First Timothy 6 and 10. First Timothy 6 and 10. The love of money is the root of all evil. Let me go to it. I want to quote it correctly for you. First Timothy 6 and 10. It says, "For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through many sorrows." Many sorrows. And I was experiencing a lot of sorrows. And I didn't want to go forward. I didn't want to go backwards. I didn't want to, I didn't want to go forward. I didn't want to go backwards. I didn't want to do anything. I just was like, what is the point of doing all this? What is the point of keep going if it's still going to be the same cycle over and over and over again? So slowly, without even realizing it, I was drifting away from God, just like the scripture says. My heart was for the earthly desires. So I wanted I wanted the big house, and I still do. I still want the big house, and I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with wanting these things, but getting to the point where those things, even if I don't get those things, as long as we have Jesus, as long as we have God, as long as we don't separate ourselves from God, then as long as we don't pursue, after that more than we pursue after him, that's how those things turn into a God. That's how our heart, the treasure that we're seeking after is will be down here, and we'll lose our treasure in heaven, where nothing can be taken away. Nobody can come and steal it. Nobody can come. It can't get lost in the mail, right? It can't get lost in the mail. Nobody can. The moths won't take it away. Badgers won't come and eat it, right? It won't be taken away. So because of my wrong place of pursuit, I pursue after more thousands of dollars. So I hired, I spent thousands of dollars on things that, God didn't say go get. Thousands of dollars that God didn't say to go after. I hired, professionals because I was afraid of not having enough, or being going into debt, or losing everything. Right. I was afraid. So I would hire people to help me get the things that I needed to get. Right. I'm telling you, I did the calculations not that long ago, and I spent over $3,000, right, on things that God didn't say I wanted you to go do. So when he told me to cut it all off, again, I had to cut it all off without, and I gave the people, these long drawn out explanations that they didn't even need. And some of the companies were like very rude about it, because I left. And I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that, right? But God never said that I was supposed to be attached to that organization or that company. So that's why on Tuesday, I think it was, I talked to you about, acknowledging God is in all of our ways, including our finances. Ask God, God, should I invest into that? I know I see the importance. I see how it could help me. But God, do you want me to invest in it? Maybe he may say yes, and he may say no, right? But that's how our relationship with him is so important, so that you know where he wants you to go and what he wants you to buy into. So like I said, I spent thousands of dollars. I took on jobs that I wasn't supposed to, this very recently, last summer, I was afraid, and I took on Amazon Flex jobs. And one day I was like, man, I'm so sick of doing this. Why do I have to do this? And God was like, I never told you to do it in the first place. And I was like, shut me right up. So um I stopped doing it. Now, my husband may not have been happy with me not doing it, but I was like, listen, I got to do what God tells me to do. And if he says do not do it, then don't do it. Don't do it, because I was like, God, I only want to do what you tell me to do. I don't want to be in that place, that dark place that I was in, to that dark place I was in, that was taking me away from you and making me irritated and frustrated with you and everybody around me. So when God revealed this revelation to me about, I didn't trust him like I thought I should. I was pursuing after the things of this world, and more than I was pursuing after him. Then I just like completely shut everything down, completely, because I wanted to hear from him, and I wanted to make sure that I was staying connected to him. And that I I needed that burning desire that I had, and I was losing that burn for him. Okay, I was losing that burn for him. So I don't know if you've experienced, anything similar to it, but I just want you to take inventory. And take inventory of yourself, take inventory of your finances. That's what this challenge was really about, is you take an inventory of where you're putting your money, how you're spending it, and if you are pursuing after it more than you're pursuing after him, right? You're pursuing it more than you're pursuing him. Then that's a something that we got to work on. That's something that we got to, seek God for. Acknowledge him, seek him for. Make sure that our desires are lining up with his will. And if he says no about something, how would you feel about it? Right? Deep down, not what's on the surface, but deep down, take inventory of that, about how you would feel if it doesn't work out. Would you be okay with it? Or would you say, get upset and be, upset with God because, you know, and a lot of that, upsetness, was coming from a place where, I grew up in a single parent home where my father was not available. I grew up as the only child, and although I have five older siblings, I still grew up as the only child. And the feeling of being rejected by them, by my peers, because I was so different from everybody else growing up. So I had rejection. My son, and his dad are not together. So the feeling, the rejection from that, so many rejections in broken promises from, family, peers, whatever, whomever. And then to start feeling like, okay, broken promises are coming back to me. Let's deal with those things that's deep down inside that can also reflect our relationship, affect, not reflect, but affect our relationship with Christ when he's not fulfilling, when we feel like he's not fulfilling his promises. So deep down, needless to say, God was fulfilling every single promise. I never lost anything. I always had a roof over my head. My family is healthy. My family was healthy as I was going through my financial challenges. But there was a point where like I said, there was a point where I got tired of, paying, doing this stuff, right? I got tired of this stuff. So, um, I realized that, if okay, this, let me read this part. This may not be your story about money, but maybe it is if you made purchases using credit, leaving you with a balance every month and paying interest, whether it's high or low, you're paying interest, right? If your savings is at zero or non-existent, this is part of your story. Maybe not the whole thing, but it's part of your story, right? Even before COVID, you had no savings whatsoever, and you're living that Proverbs 21 and 20 life, spending all you have and saving nothing and investing nothing. You're living that life, that foolish life, that man that's foolish. Remember when I talked about that? I think on money, a man that spends everything that they have is foolish. right? The wise person have wealth and luxury, while the foolish man spends everything that he has. If that's your life, then guess what? Part of my story is yours. But we have to take inventory of ourselves. So once I got my act together with prayer, lots of meditation, and asking God to illuminate my mind. That's what the prayer group I'm in is saying, illuminating our minds. He showed me and guided my heart so that it would line up with His will. So let me give you some things to do that you could do right now, right? You can do right now. First, we want our hearts to align with God. Our desires, align our hearts with God's desire. That was my prayer. I said, God, please. I didn't beg Him. I just asked Him, align my heart with your will so that I'm pursuing. My heart is pursuing after the things of you. Now, like I said, there's nothing wrong with you wanting, or a bigger house, a better car. There's nothing wrong with wanting these material things, but it's the fact that if we're pursuing after that by doing things like going into debt, purchasing these things on credit, and God said, I wanted you to be a lender and now a borrower. Remember? He said, you remember in Deuteronomy where He said, He gave us the power to obtain wealth. Yeah. Yeah. He also said that I wanted you to be a lender and not a borrower. So therefore, if we are out here and we're borrowing these things, getting these big houses, and then now we got to get a part-time job so that we could take care of it. We're getting these cars because I had a client one time. She got a beautiful car. It was a Benz, beautiful Benz, and it was sitting outside. Why was it sitting outside? Not because she wasn't driving it that much. It's because the thing was broken down. And I remember seeing the posts and the comments. God blessed me with this car, but then it was breaking down every chance she get. I'm like, well, was that a blessing? Because my Bible says that the blessings of the Lord makes us rich and adds no sorrow. So now you have a car that you're paying every month. She was paying about $500 a month in that car with like a 20-some% interest, right? And she was paying that every month, and she was it was sitting outside because the parts on repairs for our Benz is expensive. She couldn't afford it. She was and it wasn't like she had really bad habits. She had a great paying job. She was an accountant, but she didn't have the credit, nor did she have the liquid money to get that car fixed. Right? So the blessings of the Lord makes us rich and adds no sorrow. So there's nothing wrong with wanting. It's how we go after it is the key, is the problem, right? If we're borrowing, now, let me say this. You can use debt as leverage to obtain wealth. That is how, the world is doing it and the wealthy are doing it. But if you're using it to purchase something that is not bringing you assets, then you're putting yourself into further debt. Even just buying a house to live in, if it's not producing income for you, then therefore it is another debt. It can be considered as a bad debt. All right. So that's one thing. Align your heart with God's will. God's will is that we be lenders and not borrowers. All right. God, we be lenders and not borrowers. So we ask God, how can I be a lender and not a borrower? All right. So with your emergency savings account, when emergencies arise, guess what, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to borrow from a bank or the credit card so that you can go and get your car fixed. You could pull it from your emergency savings and use it for that. And then just rebuild it back up, replenish it. Simple as that. All right. 2, what's the second? Count the small things. Being content, right? Being content. Count the small things. I was looking at the big stuff, expecting the big stuff to happen. And that's not saying that God won't do the big stuff, but he wants us to also look at the listen. He said, I'm taking care of your rent. I'm taking care of your bills. I'm taking care of your wants. I'm taking care of your desires, but you're looking at it as I gotta have it in the bank. So I gotta physically have it. So I'm gonna use this credit card to go and get it. Oh, I really like this, but you know, I'm going to use this credit card to get it and I can just pay it back later. That's not wise. That is not wise. So we want to be wise with our spending. The desires of our heart, he wants to give us the desires of our heart, but he also says that we have to delight ourselves in him. Delight ourselves in him and he will give us desires of the heart. That's the prerequisite, delighting in him, and then he'll give us the desires of our heart. But sometimes we lose patience, right? Sometimes we lose patience because it's not coming fast enough. And that's when the anxiety and the depression and the frustration and all those things come about because we've lost, it's not coming as quickly as we wanted or expected. So count the small things. God is blessing you in the small things as well as the biggest things. All right. Um, and last but not least, now all this stuff is part of day 4 that was supposed to be yesterday. The last but not least, give yourself an allowance. You know, you can give yourself an allowance. Now you might be saying, Clarice, I work hard. You know, I want to do what I want to do. And where has that gotten you? Do you have your savings in place? Did you look at your budget? Did you look at how much money you have been spending on things that are wants and not needs that could have saved you $200, right? In 7 days, right? In 30 days, you could have had $200 in 30 days. Is it giving you what you desire, right? With your current spending habits. So give yourself an allowance. That takes care of any. If I wanted to go out, like I said, I like to eat. So if I wanted to just get a bag of chips, I could get that bag of chips. But now that I'm on a healthy diet, you know, a healthy lifestyle, now I have to look at, you know, that bag of chips as I do with money. Is it serving a purpose? Remember I talked about purpose the other day? Is it serving a purpose? What is this bag of chips going to do for me? It's not going to fuel my body so I can get on here and do lives. It's not going to fuel my body so that I can take care of my family. It's not going to fuel my body. It's not going to do anything for my body. So that bag of chips that you want to purchase, right? What is it going to do for your finances? Is it going to increase anything? It's going to give you a temporary satisfaction. Yes, it will. That whatever you're getting ready to purchase, you know, on Amazon right now that you have sitting in your shopping cart right now. Yes, it's going to fulfill, you know, a temporary purpose, but temporary satisfaction. But is it taken away from your savings? That's the most important. Is it something that if you don't have a savings, if you 90, let's say you get a big bag of chips and it's like $3.49. Yeah. Yeah, I have a problem. $3.49, a big bag of chips. Yes, it can't you put that $3.49 into your savings to boost it up a little bit more? These are just some ideas. Now, I'm not saying don't want the thing at all because you're going to go to hell or anything. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm just trying to help you be aware of where we're spending God's blessing, and then are we being good stewards over them? Now that's just a small thing. Bigger purchases, um, cars that has no value to them whatsoever. Cars. We want these nice cars, but what value is it given to us? Is all of our ducats in place? Do we have the savings? Do we have some investments? Do we have, are we budgeting our money? Are we just getting that car because it looks nice? And, you know, or can you just get a nice used car and you don't have to get a brand new one? All right. So I'm just trying to open up your mind to other possibilities that we could do with our money. So But why did I want to do all this? Here we go into day 5. Why did I want to do all this? Why did I want to change all of my finances? Why did I want to be a better steward? I mentioned my son so many times because he was my motivation. I thought, what am I teaching my son in this season? Right? What am I teaching my son in this season? And while as I'm raising him to be a man, what am I teaching my son? Am I teaching him anything good? Is anything positive coming out of this? And no, it wasn't. I was broke. I'm teaching him to live paycheck to paycheck. I'm teaching him to live above my means. I'm not teaching him about credit. I'm not teaching him about budgeting. I'm not teaching him anything but except spend what you want, go get what you want, and do whatever you want with your money. Oh, but make sure you pay your tithes and offering. But guess what? God has some important rules for us to receive that overflow that we are asking Him for. He has some rules, and I needed to teach him that. And the Bible says another word of wisdom from King Solomon, Proverbs 22:6 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." Then that's not saying that he's not going to ever forget it, but it'll come back to his memory because he'll say, "Oh yeah, mom taught me this. Oh, I'm so glad mom taught me this." It's so funny. Yesterday, during the acceptance letter or whatever meeting yesterday, it's so funny. They was like, there's a free laundry service on campus, right? And they were telling parents, let's make your kids, teach your kids how to do laundry now so that they can do it when they get older. And I was like, my son's been doing it for like 2 years. And it wasn't something that he asked us to show him. I mean, I taught him how to do laundry when he was about 10, but recently, about a couple of years ago, he started doing his own laundry because he knew that he was moving out soon. So he was like, my husband does our laundry. So he said, "Keith, can you teach me how to do laundry?" And he did. And he does it faithfully. He does it faithfully. So I was very proud of that moment. But train up a child in the way he should go, and he will not depart from it. So I needed to teach my son, better habits, and I needed to show him. I needed to be the example of him. It's like if he has a bad temper, if I have a bad temper, where is he going to learn the bad temper from? He's going to learn lack of self-control from me. So with my lack of self-control with finances, he's going to learn that from me. So when he gets out there on his own, it's just going to repeat the cycle of poverty and debt and bad credit, right? And that's how stopping the generational curse takes place, by teaching the next generation how to do better. So therefore, I started when he was little. When he was little, I taught him how to the importance of taking care of home first, and you don't make that much. If you make less than a certain amount an hour, it's a struggle to take care of home and buy some things that he wants. I remember I picked up my paycheck, deposit this paycheck, and he said, "Wow, mom, you got a lot of money, but you always saying you broke." I said, "Watch and see." I said, "Here's the money." I used cash the whole day because I wanted him to see. I used cash the entire day. And then we went to the store. I paid a couple of bills. Then we went to the store because I needed to get a couple of things for my home. And then I showed him. He was like, "Wow, mom, you need a better paying job." I was like, "Yeah, I do." Because at that time, I was unemployed, and I had little odds and end jobs just so I can, take care of some things, right? And then as he got older, then I started teaching him, how to, about working hard for your money. So I created a nice calendar for him, and then every day was an assignment for him to do. And if he didn't do the assignment the way that I wanted to look, then he didn't get paid for that day. So let's say, for example, the kitchen. He was about 9 or 10 at this time. If he cleaned the kitchen, you got to wash the dishes, wipe the counters down, and sweep the floor, right? Once a week, we mop, right? He's about 9 or 10 years old. So if he did that on every day that he was supposed to do it, in addition to keeping his room clean, he didn't get paid for that, but the kitchen was his responsibility. So if he didn't do any of that, and I came and did I went and did an inspection, and it didn't look the way that I like it to look, he didn't get paid for that day. And he tried that, and he said when it was payday, and I told him you get paid every Friday. So when payday came, and I broke it down, so every day he got paid a certain amount. So on the calendar, he would see how much he should get paid, and he got paid a certain amount on that day, right? So when payday arrived, came around, we sat down, and I paid him his money. Now, he was ready to get up, grab his money, and get up and go. I was like, no, 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 no. Come here, sit down. And I said, count the money. And he counted the money. This is back when he was just learning how to count money. I said, count the money. He counted the money. He was like, hey, I'm supposed to get $10. I did everything. I went to the calendar because I made notes, right? He didn't know I was making notes. I made notes so that I wouldn't forget. On this day, Tuesday, you did not wash the counters down. On Friday, you did not mop. So I had to deduct your pay. And he was so mad. I said, didn't we agree that you would do it the way that I want you to do it? And it would look the way that I want it to look? And he said, yes. I said, well, if it didn't look the way that I wanted it to look, your pay would be docked, right? And he said, yes. And I said, well, that is what happened. And he was upset. But the following week, because he didn't want his money to be docked, he did everything correctly. So that's just an example of teaching him responsibility. Now, everybody's child is different. Okay, so let me go a little further. With getting an allowance, he was also being taught how to trust God by giving tithes and offering. And to this day, I am proud to say that he still does that. He has his own job. He has a job, a real job. And my pastor shared with me, because he wanted to bless him with something that's going towards his career journey. He was like, my pastor said, well, because he's, being so faithful, a faithful steward over, and being faithful and giving to the church, I wanted to bless him. I felt led to bless him. And I was like, well, that's a blessing in itself that, he's still giving tithes and offering, because I don't check. He's 17. I said, I don't check your account because I'm teaching you responsibility and I want you to do it. Be responsible on it. So if you don't pay, give it, then that's on you. That's something that you have to account for with God and expect, whatever happened to happen. Not saying that anything's going to always happen to him, but if you don't obey God, there is consequences for that. That's what we teach it, right? So time goes on. Now I'm teaching him about budgeting, because now he has a bill, car insurance. Car insurance is due on a certain day. You have to pay it, right? So if you don't pay it, you don't get to drive, right? If I have to pay it. So he gave me permission to just automatically take it out of his account. And I do that. So I'm teaching him how to budget, and he's doing it very well, planning out his finances around his bills, the things that he wants, all this great stuff. And I'm really super duper proud of him. But like I said, the Bible says, just train up your child in the way he should go, and he will not depart from it. So even if he does act like he doesn't want to remember, and we get that way sometimes, act like we don't remember the things that our parents teach us. We get that way. But guess what? We always come back to it. I don't know how many times I've said in the past 7 years, Mama, thank you for teaching me this. I forgot this stuff. I wish I was following it in my 20s, but I am so glad that you have taught me this and gave me this foundation, so that it always come back, right? So train up a child in the way to go. And that's how we start building generational wealth. Generational wealth. Teaching our kids to do the same exact thing. All right. So that we can stop the generational curse. The curse of generational curse of poor management and bad credit, right? Poor, because when I die and I leave him my trillions, I don't want him wasting my trillions in a year. All the hard work I'm putting in to build something for him to leave behind, I don't want him to waste it in a year. And that's how, if we don't teach our kids these things and allow them to experience these things, then guess what? It just kills everything that we've worked so hard for. The legacy, the financial legacy that we want to leave behind for them, it kills it all. It kills it all because it's gone. And when he gets his billions or kabillions, right? When he gets his kabillions, I want him to be able to be a good steward so that he can have a kabillion dollars, right? Kabillion dollars. So I want him to be a good steward over the small little things that he has, and he'll be a good manager of the over the things that we have. Isn't that what we want for our children? Isn't that what we want for our children? Now, your story may not be like mine. It may be completely different from mine, but I understand. But everybody has a point. And I'm hoping that over these past 5 days, you have had some aha moments. You have had some aha moments. And I tell you this, that as a financial coach, as a business owner, if I did not have people in my corner who supported me, who praised me with good things, who talked to me during the bad things, who was just there and who coached me to and pushed me to the next level, I wouldn't be where I am today, financially and spiritually and mentally, right? Physically, I'm getting there physically because I have a great coach to get me there physically. Yes, I know the things I can do to change, my eating habits, but doing it on my own, I just don't have it. Even with just the group coaching, I just don't have it in me. I don't have that person that's going to hold me accountable to reach my goals. And that's what is needed. We may know what to do, but when those times come, those hard times arrives, and those emotional challenges start to overcome us, who do you have to go to when the financial burnouts are there? Who do you have to go to to motivate you out of it, to pull you out of those dark moments when you feel like God is not listening, God does not care, and He does not even want to care about how you're living or about how hard it is. If He didn't care, He wouldn't have sent Jesus Christ for us to die. But who do you have to help you, encourage you, and motivate you, and to pull you out of those dark moments when you feel like you want to give up? I thank God for all my coaches, all of my business colleagues. I thank God for all of my support team who has been there from day one. And even the ones that's just jumped on board. I thank God for them because they are the ones that help pull me out of those dark moments when I don't want to go any further. I don't want to go any further, where I just want to just throw in the towel. And we have those moments. And that's what financial bondage broken is for our clients. That's what we are for our clients when they don't want to go any further, when they don't want to see that they can do more. They can do more. Or that they can't see that there's some other things that we could take away, right? We're helping people not just, transform their finances and so that they can save and they can restore their credit and rebuild their credit. We're helping people change their lives. Some of our clients are, quit smoking or at least diminished how much they smoke. I have a 60-some-year-old client, 70 something. He's retired. He's about 72. And he used to smoke 4 packs per day. And now he's down to 1.5 per day because he saw that he was spending over $300 a week in cigarettes. Now his wife is thrilled. You hear me? His wife is thrilled that he's not smoking as much. But can you imagine? So we're changing lives here at Financial Bondage Broken, and we want to change your life too. We want to help you get to that next level, not just helping you save and restore your credit and rebuild your credit, but also help you with a closer relationship with God so that your faith does not grow weak during those trying times. All right. So we want to help you. We want to help you today. And we want to help you get started today. Tomorrow will be too late. Tomorrow will be too late, especially if you know that this is what you need. This is the support that you need to help you get to the next level and stay there. We want you to stay there with generational wealth. So that means after you've completed our programs, we don't want you to come back. We want to help you so much that you will refer somebody to us so that we can help them. We want to close the gap of the wealth gap. We're sick of the wealth gap. You know, the wealthy get richer and the middle class gets poorer and poorer because they don't know that they don't know, or they don't know all the deep secrets that God has for us, especially our men and women of God, the deep secrets of what God has for us. All right. So I know that you're ready. I know that you're ready because you've taken this challenge and you've taken it serious. Right? You've taken it serious. You want to live that life of peace and prosperity. Our website, you can sign up for a free consultation today for financialbondagebroken.com. The link is right there above our head or on YouTube. I guess it's down below. I'm not sure where it is. Or you can just give me a call. Give me a call and we can have the consultation right over the phone. Now don't flood the phones with our because it's just one person, it's just me, guys. So don't flood the phones with our calling me, because I'm not going to be able to handle thousands of phone calls at one time. So if you schedule your consultation today, schedule a consultation today and sign up for one of our programs today, I guarantee it will change your life. It will change your life. So we have many services, but I want to offer you our Restore program. Our Restore program is a 6-week program where we're going to work on your credit to rebuild it. We're going to work on restoring your we're going to work on repairing and rebuilding your credit and rebuilding your finances. We're going to look at that budget, and we're going to create a plan so that within 8 weeks, you will be able to transform your finances and stop the paycheck to paycheck cycle. And if you're one of those people who are working those 2 jobs, going from one job into the next job, and you don't have any time for your husband, you don't have any time for your children, you don't have any time for your friends, you want to get rid of that second job, we are ready to help you. All right. So our Restore program is $1,700. I said 8 weeks. It's a 4-week program. It's a 4-week program where we're going to work on all those things, and we're going to work on mindset so that you can get closer to Christ. All right. The Restore program is $1,700 if you pay within today, pay in full today, right? Pay in full today. All right. If you need a payment arrangement, we do have that available. So, but if you pay today, it's $1,700, $1,700, and it's going to do everything that you need to do so that if you want to buy a house next year, you can buy that house next year, right? If you want to buy the house next year, you can buy that house next year. This type of stuff. So for around 4 weeks, 1,700. All right. $1,700, right? The Restore program is a 4-week program, and it's $1,700. We will meet weekly, and we will hold you accountable. All right. We will meet weekly and we will hold you accountable so that you can reach your financial goals. So within that, we're going to restore your credit. We're going to rebuild it. We're going to, if you have things on your credit report that need to be eliminated and so that you can start repairing your credit, we're going to do that together. We're going to work on your budget. We're going to, fine tune. We're going to eliminate that bad spending and replace it with good and better spending habits. We're going to remove all that bad debt and replace it with good debt habits, management habits. All right. That's what we're going to do with the program. But that $1,700 is for 4 weeks. If you pay in full today. If you do not pay in full today, then ladies and gentlemen, it will we do have payment arrangements. If the 4 week, if the Restore program is not a program for you, we do have other options, but the Restore program is the program where we will help you get better results because you have that accountability. And you have the private coaching that is available to you, private coaching. So that's for the people that is ready to just get their foot on the ground, get rolling right away. All right. So go to our website, or you can, matter of fact, don't go to the website. The link to my calendar is right above my head, or on YouTube is right below my this beautiful video. So right below this video is the link to my calendar so that you can schedule your free consultation. 30 minutes is all we need so that we can get you on the right path. All right. So this concludes the challenge. Now, remember, tomorrow is the drawing. So you have to do all the homework. So what is the homework for today? The homework for today is to do what was I saying? The homework for today is to I know what it is. It's a word I'm looking for. Evaluate. Check your heart. Check your heart to make sure to ask God to align it with his will. The desires of your heart, to align them with his will. That's the homework for today. If you do, go watch all the videos. Day 4 and 5 is this video. Okay. Day 4 and 5 is this video, and watch all the videos. Do the homework in the separate thread. You can do it right here in this thread as well. And you will be put on the in the list for the drawing to win a cash prize of $25. No one does it. I get to keep it. So either way, I get blessed by it anyhow. All right. So, but you want to be the winner. So make sure you do the homework. Make sure you reach out, and make sure you sign up for the consultation. Like I said, the Restore program is $1,700. However, if you cannot pay that in full today, we do payment arrangements. If you need more, you can't do the $1,700 or the payment arrangements, we do have other options available for you. So I will be reaching out to each and every one of you who participated in the challenge, and I'm looking forward to connecting with you. All right. God bless you, and guys, and I will see you tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk to you about the winner of the cash prize. All right. God bless each and every one of you. And I'm so thankful and grateful that you have taken the time out to be with me for the last 5 days. All right. I'll see you guys later on, hopefully soon, because we're going to get your finances together. God bless you. Have a great day.